Right now at 5, future teachers get recognized ahead of graduation day at Pitt State.
And we have severe storm potential coming up later this morning.
Plus, a new housing project in Joplin could help address a need for affordable homes as city leaders plan to clear out an old hospital to make room.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's Friday today, of course, and we've had a few really nice days, but that comes to an end this morning.
It unfortunately does. Not for everybody, though. These are very isolated chances,
right,
which is a good thing. We're going to still end the week on a high note for most of us. But yeah, you can see, taking a look outside, we're looking at our SPC outlook. Now, the main threat for severe weather this evening is going to be out to the east, but you can see in our area, we've got these isolated to scattered chances of storms. Now, the scattered chances just clipping our area, but we are still going to see a potential for those storms. Mostly about 8 to 9 a.m. until about 11 a.m. to noon before it all clears out of our area. So it's not a long-lived threat. Mostly our main threat is going to be 70-mile-per-hour winds, but we could expect other modes of severe weather possible as well. Now, temperatures right now getting into the low 60s, so we may drop another degree or two before we start to warm up for the day, but it is going to be another very warm day as we head through the weekend. Now you can see some of those storms out there out in eastern parts of Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee. Those are scattered chances of storms, kind of borrowing from the storms we had last night, but our threat comes in a little bit later in the morning. We're going to see storms popping up out in Oklahoma City all the way up to Wichita and then moving out to our area. So not a big threat. Most of us are going to see clear skies. So let's go through our morning. We've got 7:30 where temperatures are going to be in the low 60s, looking pretty good. But by about 10 a.m., we're going to get an isolated storm that pushes in from central southern parts of Oklahoma, moves into Arkansas, hits Cassville, Pineville, Monette, and then clears out by noon. Again, very quick threat, and we're back to 80-degree weather. But I'm going to have more details coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. Ottawa County prosecutors drop a DUI charge in a crash that killed a 9-year-old boy. The incident happened in April. Douglas Gray of Miami was driving a UTV when 9-year-old Easton Freeman fell and was hit while running alongside it. Now, that's according to witnesses. EMS took Easton to a Tulsa hospital where he died. Gray and his passengers were uninjured. Court records indicate Gray refused preliminary breath and blood tests, but a court-ordered blood draw was taken. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol tells KOAM those results are still pending. The OHP had recommended a manslaughter charge, but the Ottawa-Delaware County District Attorney's Office amended it and filed a DUI charge before dropping it this week. The Highway Patrol says the investigation is ongoing and they will continue working with the DA's office in providing details behind recommended charges. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Plans for a new low-income housing development in Joplin are in the very early stages, but the city planner has provided an artist rendering of how it could look. The plan is for 3 two-story duplexes along Sargent Avenue between 20th and 21st Streets. As we've reported, the city plans to demolish the old Freeman Hospital that has fallen into disrepair currently on that site. City officials say Joplin has a shortage of affordable housing for low-income residents, and in fact, it's a problem statewide.
Very difficult to build affordable housing at very low incomes or at the getting closer to the middle incomes because the other programs available tend to be more in the 60% affordability range of area median income. So this is actually a very needed rental development.
The city has not yet established a timeline for demolition of the old hospital or construction of the new housing. Well, with Pitt State students set to graduate today, there are ceremonies taking place ahead of time to highlight students in specific fields. Yesterday evening, soon-to-be teachers were recognized for their achievements in school before they go into the workforce. KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us more about how this ceremony highlights the next generation of educators.
A move from being taught to the one who's doing the teaching. PSU students majoring in education have one more step before graduation day.
It's our effort to welcome these new teachers into the profession, so as moving from our students to become our colleagues. So that's really special for us.
For one student, the choice to become an educator was easy.
I had a lot of really good teachers in high school that I felt very connected to, and I was lucky enough to have them supporting me, so I wanted to do the same thing that they were doing, showing support to students who maybe didn't feel it in other areas. And I was a busy bee in high school, so having that extra support really helped, and I want to be able to help provide students with that.
For those looking to follow in Allison's footsteps, she has a piece of advice.
Stick with it. Really don't think about anything that people are saying about education. Care about the students. If you show up and you have the students in mind and you just remove everything else, you're going to do great.
As she walks across the stage in a similar fashion to what she will do on graduation day, a medallion is donned, representing her education at Pitt State and desire to become a teacher. But before she starts teaching, she'll have her summer to relax.
I am going to read for fun. I've already started a couple books, and so I'm just reading as much as I can. I'm hanging out at home. I'm getting in the sun, and hopefully I'll be hanging out with my friends, going to the lake, and kayaking, hopefully.
In Pittsburgh, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Students from the College of Education will have their commencement ceremony tonight at 7 p.m. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump is set to head back to Washington today after visiting the Middle East. And we're tracking rain chances for the next few days. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, the justices on the Supreme Court wrestling through a high-stakes case involving birthright citizenship. The case coming in the wake of President Trump signing an executive order on his first day of his second term that would deny citizenship to children born to people who are in the country illegally or temporarily. A majority of the court expressed concerns about what would happen if the Trump administration were allowed, if even temporarily, to deny citizenship to children born to people who are in the U.S. illegally. A decision in the case is expected by late June or early July. Later today, President Trump is expected to return to Washington after 4 days visiting 3 of the richest nations in the Middle East. Now, the White House is touting billions of dollars in business investments announced during the trip. While there, President Trump repeated his desires to broker a deal with Iran over its nuclear program, even as he expressed his new skepticism on Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks in Turkey. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Today, President Donald Trump wraps up his trip to the Middle East. In the United Arab Emirates, the focus remained on business this morning.
The relationship is now at a much higher level than it ever was.
Later, a tour of the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi, which houses a mosque, church, and synagogue. Over the past 4 days, the president promoted a slew of economic agreements, some that had been previously announced. He leaves the UAE with signed commitments for more than $1 trillion worth of investments in energy and technology projects.
You're an amazing country. You're a rich country. You can have your choice, but I know you'll never leave my side.
During his trip, the president also announced plans to normalize relations with Syria and nudged Qatar to help clinch a deal to close Iran's nuclear program.
It'll be taken care of 100%. It'll be done nicely or not nicely.
But the president seemed to throw cold water on Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks in Turkey after Russian President Vladimir Putin stayed home.
Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay?
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky accusing the Russians of sending a decorative-level delegation. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Istanbul this morning.
The president is impatient to end this war.
though he's also skeptical there will be a breakthrough. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Overnight, the White House responded to criticism over the price tag of a planned military parade to mark the Army's 250th anniversary next month. An Army spokesperson tells CBS News the June 14th event, which coincides with President Trump's birthday, is likely to cost around $45 million. A White House spokesperson said in a statement, quote, "There is no event grand enough to adequately capture our gratitude for the millions of heroes who laid down their lives defending our freedom." Also adding that the cost will be shared by the Department of the Army and the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission. Well, still to come, doctors say they are making progress on understanding brain fog. Plus, Lindsay returns with another look at your Friday forecast. Stick around, we'll be right back. Well, a teen driver learned a valuable lesson through a lucky landing after they accidentally drove off a New York pier, but managed to avoid going into the water. Jerry Roth shows us how in today's Take a Look at This.
A close call caught on camera in New York saw a young, inexperienced driver narrowly avoid plunging their vehicle into the Long Island Sound. Surveillance captured the moment. Authorities say the teenage driver accelerated too hard, crashing their SUV through a guardrail at the Port Jefferson Marina. Miraculously, the 17-year-old stuck a lucky landing on a floating dock below and avoided plunging the vehicle headfirst into the waterway. Brookhaven town officials say the teen escaped the incident with only minor injuries, and heavy-duty tow trucks were later sent to the scene to hoist the SUV back up to level ground. No amount of experience can prepare a driver for what one woman in Florida dealt with when a tiny stowaway frog terrorized her from her dashboard while she was driving in Orlando.
Oh, don't jump on me. Oh my!
After freaking the geek out, WSVN reports the woman managed to pull the car over safely and kick the uninvited guest out. She later took to social media to share the frightening froggy video, which left plenty of followers riveted. No? Okay. Finally, speaking of freaky creatures, an Iowa homeowner reportedly had to seek help from authorities after discovering a strange snake in their yard. What was it, like a little garter snake or something? Sweet Georgia Brown! Sorry, I'm not a snake fan. Cedar Rapids Animal Care and Control are holding onto it, hoping to get some questions answered, but in the meantime, they've nicknamed it Sir Hiss-a-Lot. Oh, that's cute. Now please send it back to the infernal chasm from whence it came. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
I don't know what I would have done if that snake was in my yard. I think I might have passed out. Well, let's head over now to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we've got isolated to slightly scattered chances today and tomorrow of storms, but Sunday, scattered to numerous storms passing through the area. So Sunday could be a pretty nice severe weather day, but right now we're looking clear. We've got clear skies in our area. Storms are to the southeast, though over the next couple of hours, storms are going to start to push in, especially down in our southern counties out in Bentonville, all the way up to Monette before clearing out of here, but I'm going to have those details coming up. Well, after a really nice week, we are back in those scattered thunderstorm chances over the weekend. Starting today, we've got isolated chances for storms, and that's going to be that green area, so mostly staying south of Joplin. We're not expecting any other severe weather or storms in general in the Joplin area or out to the west. But you can see out just south of Bentonville, just south of Monette, very much clipping our area, scattered chances for storms. Now tomorrow we're going to have isolated storms, mostly staying Pittsburgh, Chanute, and south. Those are going to be very isolated, and they're later in the evening, so after about 8 p.m. But then on Sunday, we do have even larger chances for storms, scattered to numerous chances. So the numerous chances is going to be that orange right when it moves into our area, and then the yellow, all of us are going to see scattered chances of severe thunderstorms. So Sunday is a day that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Those are going to be in the morning and again in the evening. Now currently you can see we've got those clusters of thunderstorms that are firing off out in Arkansas, eastern parts of Missouri into Kentucky and Tennessee. We're looking good, at least right now for the next couple of hours. You can see downtown Pittsburgh, mostly clear skies, maybe even starting to see a little bit of that sunrise, though it is still kind of dark outside right now. All right, so when we head through the rest of the morning, like I said, we've got a good, nice few hours before we start to see some of these storms popping up. So this is about 10 a.m. You can see some of the lighter green. That's where those isolated supercells are going to begin popping up about 10 a.m., but really firing off quickly out just south of Bentonville, Arkansas, Gravette, Arkansas. That's going to continue to push in to our area. Not a huge threat, clearing out really quickly. And then we're clear for the rest of the day after about 11:30 to noon today. So we've got about a 2-hour window of a chance for isolated storm or two south of I-44, mostly Arkansas and in southwestern Missouri. For the rest of the day, we're looking clear. We don't have anything else going on today or through most of the morning tomorrow. Now, temperatures are going to be in the mid-60s to start off, about 7, 8 a.m. A little windy as well, winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. By the afternoon, though, once all those clouds clear out and the storms clear out, we're going to see temperatures reaching the mid-80s, about 83, 84 degrees. Still a little windy, but everything's clear skies from here on out. Now, you can see how temperatures drop down through the 70s into the 60s overnight, but clear skies all night long and into Saturday morning. During the day on Saturday, it is going to be wonderful. Temperatures reach the low 80s, sunny all day long. But by the evening, we're going to start to see those isolated chances of storms popping up again after about 8 p.m. By Sunday, storms overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning. Those continue about 6, 7, 8 a.m. on Sunday, but we have another round of severe weather coming in later Sunday afternoon. Now, as we head through the weekend, this is what I want to show you guys. 11:30, like I said, a couple of isolated storm chances south of I-44. Those are going to clear out, but we've got scattered thunderstorms in the morning on Sunday. Now, again, these clear out pretty quickly, but we're going to see storms popping up in a line along central parts of Oklahoma, north central parts of Texas, and into Kansas as well. So those are going to continue to push in. Big wind threat here. You can see strong wind gusts, 70, 75 miles per hour. Now the big threat with this, if it goes linear like this is what is wanting to show line of storms, you could get spin up tornadoes, large hail, and those strong damaging wind gusts. So that's what we're expecting through the evening on Sunday. This is going to be late Sunday afternoon into early evening, about 9, 10 p.m. Those continue to push out of here by about 2 to 3 a.m. Monday morning should be all clear. Now, we do have those storm chances continuing though Monday again and Tuesday. Temperatures drop on Wednesday, mid-60s, but we're back into the 70s, that warm up for next weekend, 70s and 80s with another couple of isolated chances of storms next weekend. Now that's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, doctors say they're getting closer to understanding the brain fog many long COVID patients experience. A study by Corewell Health found people who experience brain fog have more inflammation in their brain than other patients. Up until now, doctors have had challenges understanding why some patients develop brain fog and others don't. And 1 in 10 cases of asthma among children could be prevented by simultaneously reducing pollution and improving the environment in cities. A study by the Karolinska Institute found air pollution and the lack of green spaces in urban environments are a major factor in kids developing asthma. If those factors were addressed, 11% of childhood asthma cases could be prevented. And one way to get teens who are picky eaters to expand their diets, well, school lunches. A study by the University of Bristol found kids who choose their own lunches at school had a more varied diet than kids who ate lunches packed at home. The data also showed that kids who were picky eaters as toddlers often stayed picky into their teen years. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, riders from the Fort Scott Rodeo team look to rope in a national title.
And we have storm potential starting today through the weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, Carthage seniors celebrate how far they've come and encourage younger students to keep looking ahead.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
It's Friday here in the 4 states, heading into a weekend, and a bit stormy weekend.
It is going to be a little bit of a stormy weekend. However, today and tomorrow, not too bad for most of us.
Okay.
Isolated chances of storms starting today, starting this morning actually. So let's go ahead and take a look outside. We've got these SPC outlook showing a outbreak out in parts of eastern Missouri, and you can see all the way out to Kentucky, northern parts of Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana. Now, we are only seeing these isolated chances of storms, mostly staying south of I-44, east of I-49. But future track only shows about 1 or 2 isolated storms getting in through our southeastern parts of our counties, and that's going to be from about 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Main threat, strong wind gusts, but we can't really rule anything else out. As we know, in Tornado Alley, storms are possible to carry all types of severe weather. Though again, our main threat, 70-mile-per-hour winds. Starting right now, you can see the clear skies. You can see that little sunrise starting to happen out there. Temperatures are in the low 60s. We'll continue to warm up over the next couple of hours, but we're looking good. Clear skies. A few clouds might pass in our northern counties. Those clusters of thunderstorms out there in Arkansas, eastern parts of Missouri, they're under a severe thunderstorm watch. They're not even expecting any tornadoes today either. Those are going to continue to push through, but our storms moving in about 9 to 10 a.m. So by 7:38, we're going to be a couple of degrees warmer, 62 in Joplin, upper 50s out in Kansas, as you can see, and low 60s for the rest of us. Clear skies. Temperatures are warming up quickly. By about 10 a.m., we're already in the mid-70s, and then there you can see just south of Bella Vista, south of Gravette, Bentonville, as well, that isolated storm wanting to pop up. Now, out in Oklahoma as well, a little bit of rain there too, but that isolated storm, that central part of the storm, is where we could see a little bit of a hail threat and that strong wind threat. Now that's going to continue to push up into southwestern parts of Missouri, all the way through Cassville, Pineville, Monette, but clearing out. So this is about 11:30 a.m. clearing out by noon. So it's a quick 2-hour window of storms, and then we're back to clear skies. You can see how temperatures are reaching the mid-80s today. So it is going to be a really nice day outside of southwestern parts of Missouri, seeing that isolated storm chance, and out in Arkansas as well. Now we do have those storms continuing, isolated chances tomorrow, scattered to numerous chances of storms on Sunday. So you're going to want to be weather aware this weekend, but I'm going to have all those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, next month, Southeast Kansas will be represented at the national level. The Fort Scott Community College rodeo team has qualified for the College National Finals Rodeo in Casper, Wyoming. The entire team has qualified, but they are able to bring just 6 men to compete in bareback riding and saddle bronc. Now, the team is coached by Chad Cross, who has been with the Fort Scott team for 28 years. He says every year he tries to push his athletes to be the best they can be, with nationals as a goal.
They'll be the 40 best rodeo athletes in every event there, and it's over the nation. And it's an exciting week, and you have to kind of have things go your way, but I think we can go there and be competitive.
We're for sure confident, but it's one of those things, like, we know what we want, we know what we need to do to get there. We're just going to go out there and just do our job like we would anywhere else.
Well, the College National Finals Rodeo will start June 15th. The Miami Public Library turned to the public for ways it can implement grant money to better serve the community. The library plans to use the grant to develop and distribute new tools, resources, and support for librarians to help them engage the community in new ways, specifically an enhancement to their services and materials for individuals with cognitive challenges and disabilities.
We want to speak with the people that we are targeting themselves. So if someone has a cognitive disability, if someone has autism, is anywhere on the spectrum, we want their input, whether it's an adult or a child. We have some surveys with pictures for kids where they can circle things. Adults can do that too. They can write on there what they're struggling with. But it's important because we need to hear from them directly what they want.
Well, the grant money came from the American Library Association's Transforming Communities initiative. And seniors at Carthage High School take a trip down memory lane yesterday. It's part of an annual tradition known as Walk the Halls, a special moment for Carthage Tigers. Graduating seniors returned to their elementary schools, walking through the halls as the younger students cheered them on. It's a chance to reflect on the journey so far and to inspire the next generation of Tigers.
Coming back at the beginning, it was a lot smaller. It was just kind of like, cramped a little bit. But it's nice to see all the changes and all the new faces and stuff like that.
Carthage seniors graduate today. And it was nice weather and a sizable crowd for last night's third Thursday event in downtown Joplin. The theme this month centered around Route 66 as Main Street transformed into a retro roadside celebration. It included a vintage car cruise and, as always, lots of food and drinks, arts and crafts, a bounce house for kids, live music, and about 140 vendors from a wide range of Joplin area businesses.
The kids come up acting like they might have a car that they need detailed, but really they just need a piece of candy.
It's fun. I'm a people watcher, and so it's really interesting. I run into a lot of, friends. In fact, about 7 of my grandchildren showed up here tonight.
Joplin's third Thursday events run from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. on the third Thursday of every month through October. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A new report shows that consumer spending slows down due to President Trump's tariffs. Plus, thousands of Boiro 4-in-1 high chairs are being recalled. We'll have the latest. You're watching KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, some minority-owned businesses are rethinking their sales and marketing strategies in the wake of diversity, equity, and inclusion rollbacks. Danya Bacchus introduces us to one Black-owned small business that still sees room to make an impact.
We have artists that do anime. We have artists that do abstract.
At Texas-based Puzzles of Color, they've gotten good at putting all the pieces together.
We're really confident in that what we're offering is something that is needed and enjoyed on the market.
Erica Chambers co-founded Puzzles of Color with her brother in 2020, and their business took off during COVID.
We have artists that have reached out to us.
Sales of their vibrant art-based puzzles moved from word of mouth all the way up to major retailers like Nordstrom and Macy's. While Chambers says she hasn't lost a contract in the rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, she is shifting focus.
Let's keep that energy with all of these smaller retailers as opposed to spending all of our time focusing on a big store.
Big stores are the focus for the 15% pledge. The nonprofit works with major retailers to commit at least 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned brands.
You're only going to succeed at a retailer if you have an incredible product.
Founder Aurora James has helped 800 Black-owned businesses gain access to store shelves and says so far no pledge taker has backed out.
We have to double down on the companies that really want to do the work, and also the consumers. There are so many consumers right now who are working so hard for every single dollar that they earn, and they are saying, I only want to spend this money where I believe in what this company is doing.
We're quick on our feet and we know how to pivot.
Chambers hired an assistant to help manage her increased communication with smaller retailers so Puzzles of Color can continue to hold space in the marketplace. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Richardson, Texas.
Consumer sales ticked up just 0.1% in April compared to the previous month, according to the Commerce Department. Now, that's after a March shopping surge as Americans stocked up ahead of President Trump's tariffs. Restaurant and bar sales jumped a healthy 1.2%, and clothing sales fell 0.4%, while sales at sporting goods and hobby stores dipped 2.5%. This as Walmart is now the latest company to say it will hike prices due to the president's tariffs. Well, more than 5,000 Boiro 4-in-1 high chairs have been recalled. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the latches and locks can fail, which can cause a baby to become entrapped or fall out of the chair. The products were sold exclusively by Amazon.com. Owners are urged to stop using the high chairs immediately and contact the company for a full refund. And the U.S. Public Interest Research Group says Southwest has the least amount of customer complaints last year out of all the domestic air carriers. Also rounding out the top three with fewer complaints were Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines. Now, the advocacy group says its findings came from U.S. Department of Transportation data. The carrier with the most complaints was Frontier, followed by Spirit and JetBlue. That's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we've got storms continuing, isolated chances this morning about 9 a.m. to noon. Tomorrow, more isolated chances central and southern counties, but Sunday you can see we've got scattered to numerous chances of storms. So right now we're looking clear. We've got these clear skies. Storms, scattered thunderstorms are out to Arkansas, east of Missouri into Kentucky, Tennessee, but we've got clear skies through most of the morning. Those storms are going to start to push in about 9 to 10 a.m. I'll have those details right after this.
The nation's largest retailer has a warning for shoppers. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. A bellwether in the ag industry beat Wall Street expectations for second quarter earnings. Deere & Company reporting $1.8 billion in earnings, or $6.64 a share. Reuters says that Deere was able to cushion the blow of softer demand by cutting production and warranty-related expenses. Now, company executives said during an earnings call they expect tariffs to cost Deere more than $500 million this year. The earnings news sending the company's stock to a new record high when the market opened on Thursday. Walmart warning customers to prepare for higher prices. Executives at the $750 billion company telling industry analysts they're doing everything in their power to absorb the higher costs from tariffs. Now, Walmart posted strong sales for the first quarter Thursday, though profits slipped. It's one of the top prizes for food, the World Food Prize, and it's being awarded to Maria Longuia Hungria. She's been a researcher for more than 40 years in Brazil. She works on seeds and soil treatments that enable plants to source nutrients through soil bacteria, a key development for soybean crops. And her work has helped turn Brazil into the world's largest producer and exporter of soybeans. Now, she will receive her award during a ceremony later this year. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Let's head over to Lindsay for a full look at your forecast.
Well, we have storm chances continuing for the weekend starting today. Isolated chances today and tomorrow, but scattered to numerous chances for storms on Sunday. Now you can see currently we've got clear skies, but there's some scattered thunderstorms out in Arkansas, eastern parts of Missouri, and into Kentucky and Tennessee. Though we've got beautiful weather to start our Friday morning off. You can see that sunrise going on there. Downtown Pittsburgh, clear skies, just gorgeous this morning. Temperatures are a little bit cooler in the low 60s. And then we also have that chance for an isolated storm or two popping up. So let's walk through the morning, 7 a.m. Clusters of thunderstorms pushing out towards the east. By about 9 to 10, you can see just south of Jay, maybe a little bit of an isolated shower popping up, but that thunderstorm moves in to Arkansas. So this is where we're going to see isolated thunderstorm popping up mostly south of Bentonville, south of Gravette, Arkansas, Bella Vista, Arkansas. That'll continue to push through, moving a little bit north into Cassville, Monette area before clearing out by about 11:30 to noon. So we're not having a big threat or a long-lived threat, very short window from about 10 a.m. to noon before everything clears out. So for the rest of us, we're going to have a few clouds maybe this morning, but temperatures in the mid-60s in the next 2 hours. We're also seeing those winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Now by the evening, still seeing some pretty strong wind gusts, 25 miles per hour. Temperatures warming up to the mid-80s though, but everything clears out. So we're going to have clear skies afternoon. After all the isolated storm chances clear out. And then for the rest of the evening, temperatures dropping down through the 70s and into the 60s overnight. And again, clear skies. Now, those clear skies continue through most of the day on Saturday. It is going to be a wonderful day. Temperatures are getting into the low 80s. We're going to have mostly sunny skies, though those sunny days come to an end because by Saturday night, we're going to have isolated storm chances popping back up, mostly around 8 to 9 p.m. but becoming more widespread overnight. So we're going to have scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into Sunday morning. So starting Sunday morning, scattered thunderstorm chances from 6 a.m. to about 10 a.m. We'll clear out for midday, but we're going to have more chances returning later in the evening. All right, so taking a look, 11:30 on Saturday night, those scattered thunderstorms mainly south of I-44. They push out of here. Another round pushes in central and northern counties. And again, this is not our big threat for severe weather. That's going to be holding off until Sunday night, but this is 6 a.m. again until about 9 a.m. before it all clears out. Might see a couple of isolated showers popping up throughout the day because we're going to have overcast skies on Sunday, and then that line of storms pushes in. Now, this could be a big threat for winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour if this storm turns linear, which means if it turns into a line of storms, we could see pop-up tornadoes, just those spin-up tornadoes, strong wind gusts, and hail. So this is about 8:30 p.m. starting to push into our area, and there you can see as it moves in, a little stronger, breaks apart once it gets into right along that border into Missouri, and then it pushes in, staying south of I-44, that little strongest nugget of storm, mainly, again, south of I-44. Then we have more chances returning Monday and Tuesday, but our biggest threat for severe weather, what we're going to be wanting to pay attention to is on Sunday, that line of storms. Those could be bringing all modes of severe weather. Now we're going to cool down a little bit on Wednesday, mid-60s, but we're warming right back up through the 70s into the 80s by next weekend. So we're going to only have one cooler day on the forecast this week. Now let's look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise in sports.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Pittsburgh State baseball plays its first NCAA tournament game yesterday afternoon, and the Gorillas are hoping to be the one out of their 4-team regional to advance to the next round. And they certainly get off to a good start. PSU crushes Henderson State 18-5 in its NCAA tournament opener. The Gorillas rack up 17 hits, including 4 home runs by 4 different players. Now this sends the Reddies to the elimination bracket. Pitt State remains in the winner's bracket, and today will face Arkansas Monticello, who beat the host school in 2-seed Minnesota State Mankato last night. Elsewhere, Coffeyville baseball has its season come to a close yesterday afternoon. The Red Ravens fall to Cloud County 13-0 in an elimination game at the Plains District Tournament. They finished the year with a record of 35-20. We had another district championship game last night for high school softball in Missouri. Liberal hopes to repeat as the Class 1 District 6 champion. Liberal faces Lockwood in the Class 1 District 6 title game. Now in the third, Sadie Meadows knocks it back up the middle and through a single. That's the last time Liberal records a hit in this one. But the Bulldogs have a 1-0 lead, and starting pitcher Jordan Goodall is absolutely dealing. She picked up her 700th career strikeout in the semifinal game last night and finishes this game with 6 strikeouts. But in the 6th, the Tigers have 2 runners on 2 outs, and Goodall forces the grounder to short, and Liberal gets out of it. In the 7th, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Reitz Whitesell sends it down the line right past the third baseman. 1 run scores, another on her way home, and Peyton Lasater is safe at the plate. That's a walk-off winner. Lockwood takes down Liberal 2-1 in the district championship game. And that's a look at sports this morning. We'll be right back. Netflix breaks ground in New Jersey. The company is building a production studios campus at Fort Monmouth in central New Jersey. The state was formerly an Army installation. According to Netflix, the campus will create more than 1,500 permanent production jobs and 3,500 construction-related jobs. Netflix plans to have the campus fully opened by 2028. We'll head into the weekend by firing up the grill. Today is National Barbecue Day, celebrating meals cooked over charcoal, wood, or gas. Many grillers have their own special barbecue sauce recipe, but many feature a mixture of ketchup, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, brown sugar, soy, and molasses. Historians say the first documentation of barbecue was on the island of Hispaniola, a And there's proof Christopher Columbus saw indigenous tribes there cooking meat over an open flame. As for the U.S., residents across the Southeast often brag about their respective barbecue styles, but it reportedly originated in North Carolina.
Well, we've got storm chances today from about 9 to 10 a.m. until about 12. So we've got a short window for storms. And then as we head into Saturday, another round of isolated storm chances Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, early evening around 8-9 p.m. And then storms become more widespread overnight into Sunday morning. Another round coming Sunday night, which has a little bit of a higher threat for severe weather, but scattered thunderstorm chances continue Monday and Tuesday. So we're going to have a nice long weekend and into the early next week of storm chances. A little bit of a cooler Wednesday, but we're back to warmer weather as we head into the following weekend.